Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredibly wild 2026 landscape of AI video and audio tools. Look, the way we create content has fundamentally shifted. We're no longer just sitting there pushing pixels around on a timeline for hours on end. We're essentially directing AI agents to do all the heavy lifting for us. So let's explore together how we can build an ultimate high-speed content engine using the absolute most powerful tools available to us this year.
Okay, let's dive into this. What if you could edit your video exactly like a Word document? Seriously, think about that. No more endless timeline scrubbing, no more meticulous frame-by-frame cutting. You just find the text you want to remove, you hit the backspace key, and boom, the video magically cuts itself to match. It's a total, mind-bending paradigm shift that is completely changing the game right now. It takes what used to be a highly technical chore and turns it into something as easy as writing a quick email.
Here's our roadmap for building your optimal content engine today. First, the AI editing revolution. 2, AI pre-production and planning. 3, text-based editing. 4, speed versus control. 5, AI post-production. And finally, choosing your workflow. Let's get right into it.
Starting right at the top with Section 1, the AI editing revolution and the paradigm shift in video creation.
We've all been there, right? We all know the deep, soul-crushing frustration of traditional editing. It's those endless hours spent painstakingly cutting out ums and ahs, tweaking audio levels, and trying to fix minor visual mistakes that just drive you crazy. The traditional workflow was a massive bottleneck. But AI-first tools, they flip that entirely on its head. They strip all that technical friction away so you can focus purely on being the creative director. Take the number 338, for instance. That's not just a random stat. That is the exact number of hours saved annually by a real creator who switched to an AI workflow for their weekly 90-minute podcast. Just process that for a second. 338 hours? That is almost 2 entire months of standard work weeks given back to you, simply by upgrading your toolset. Let's look at how this builds from the very start of the creative process.
Which perfectly cues up Section 2, AI pre-production and planning, building the blueprint. Because, as you know, a truly great video doesn't actually start in the timeline. It starts with storyboarding and conceptualization. Now, planning scenes and sketching out ideas used to take literal days of effort, and this brilliantly illustrates how much things have changed. Using NVIDIA's board agent, you literally just enter a plain text prompt. You just describe your story naturally. The AI acts as your virtual cinematographer and instantly spits out a 9-shot cinematic storyboard. But step 3 is where it actually feels like magic. It maintains total character consistency across every single frame. The glasses, the clothes, the hairstyle, all perfectly tracked without you doing a thing. Finally, you can extract those static frames and convert them into full dynamic video clips using models like Sora 2 Pro. You essentially have a full-scale virtual production team living right inside your browser.
Moving right along to Section 3, the text-based editing paradigm, editing by deleting text.
So your footage is shot, now we move into the actual editing phase. This is where tools like Descript enter the picture and, honestly, completely rewire how your brain thinks about post-production. Check out this real feedback from a production agency client who processed over 1,000 hours of content. They said, "This changed everything about how we produce content. I don't understand how it works, but it works perfectly." And honestly, that is the exact feeling of using text-based editing for the very first time. You upload your video, the AI transcribes it with over 90% accuracy, and suddenly your video is inherently linked to that text. If you find a typo or you just want to delete an entire sentence, you do it in the text, and the video instantly, seamlessly updates to reflect that exact change.
But, we have to be practical about its capabilities here. This paradigm is an absolute dream for podcasts, interviews, and educational content. I mean, it has a feature that instantly removes all filler words with a single click. How cool is that? But on the flip side, it completely fails at complex visual effects. It lacks the highly precise color grading you'd find in traditional editors. And its voice cloning feature, overdub, well, it can sometimes sound a little unnatural or robotic if you try to use it for super long passages. So it's a phenomenal tool for spoken word content, for sure, but it's definitely not a full VFX suite.
Which naturally leads us to Section 4, speed versus professional control, the ultimate software showdown.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that as you build your workflow, you really have to choose your underlying philosophy. Ask yourself, do you want AI-first accessibility and massive volume, or do you want professional, granular control that's simply augmented by AI? It's a pretty stark contrast between two industry giants right now. On one side, we have CapCut Desktop Pro 2026. This software is built from the ground up for absolute speed.
The AI auto-edits from raw footage and generates emotion-aware captions effortlessly, all for somewhere between $0 to about $8 a month. On the other side, we have Adobe Premiere Pro. This is the heavy-hitting industry standard built for total precision. You, the editor, make every single creative decision, and the AI just acts as your trusty assistant. It handles complex projects beautifully, but it costs around $23 a month and definitely comes with a much steeper learning curve. The difference becomes incredibly clear when we actually look at the data. Let's say you want to produce a standard 60-second social media reel. Well, CapCut's AI assembly takes just 3 minutes, and auto captions take 1 minute. Your total time from start to finish, about 10 minutes. Now, in Premiere Pro, manual assembly takes around 25 minutes, plus 8 minutes for captions, bringing your total time to nearly an hour. If you're a creator who is publishing daily, CapCut isn't just a little bit quicker, it is mathematically 5 to 6 times faster. That is a total game changer for your output.
All right, let's transition into Section 5, AI post-production and polish, fixing those inevitable mistakes. Because let's face it, even with the absolute best planning and editing, raw footage has problems. A stray microphone drops into the frame, a random person walks through the background, or you have room echo that makes you sound like you're recording inside a public bathroom. This is the falling action of our workflow, where AI steps in as your digital cleanup crew. First, let's talk about the clean plate concept. This is when the original scene is intelligently reconstructed by AI across multiple frames to completely eliminate a distracting element. It analyzes the surrounding pixels and the motion to fill the gaps seamlessly. It's like it never even existed. This is stuff that used to take dedicated VFX teams days to achieve. Now, everyday creators can do it in minutes.
And depending on your technical skills and the hardware you're running, you have some fantastic options for object removal. Runway ML is highly accessible right in your web browser. Adobe After Effects brings powerful content-aware fill if you're already locked into that ecosystem. Topaz Video AI offers incredible local processing, assuming you have a really strong graphics card. Kapang is super user-friendly for quick on-the-go cloud edits, and DaVinci Resolve packs an incredibly robust free tool right inside its Fusion page. To achieve a flawless clean plate yourself, just follow these simple steps. First things first, always back up your original footage. Next, accurately mask the object you want gone. And a quick pro tip here, slightly oversizing your mask actually gives the AI better context to work with. Then configure your temporal fill settings, let the machine process it, and meticulously review it for any weird artifacts. Finally, take that perfectly clean footage and run it through a tool like Opus Clip that'll automatically repurpose it into multiple viral shorts, maximizing your overall ROI. Now, visual cleanup is basically magic these days. But let's be real for a second, bad audio will still absolutely ruin great footage. So the crucial point is knowing how to fix it. And that's where Adobe Podcast's Enhanced Speech comes in. This is a brilliant one-click AI tool that instantly removes background noise and echo and significantly boosts vocal clarity. And the best part, it now fully supports direct video uploads like MP4 and MOV files. Honestly, it often delivers much cleaner vocal processing than manually tweaking EQs in traditional editing software, saving you an immense amount of frustration. Oh, and if you are an Adobe user, you also get access to Generative Extend. Powered by their Firefly model, if you accidentally cut a clip just a little too short, the AI can literally invent up to 5 seconds of perfectly matched video and audio to extend the shot. It takes a minute or two to process, sure, but it seamlessly stretches establishing shots or ambient audio, completely saving edits that would otherwise just be unusable. Which brings us to our final stop, Section 6, choosing your AI workflow, building your content engine. We have covered a ton of ground today. We've explored AI pre-production, text-based editing, high-speed editors, and AI cleanup tools. Now, it's time to synthesize all this so you can choose exactly what fits your specific needs. I want you to identify which of these two profiles sounds more like you. Are you the daily creator? You need to publish short-form content constantly, reacting to trends within hours. You thrive on volume. If so, your engine should absolutely be built around CapCut and Descript. Or, on the other hand, are you the professional agency? You produce long-form content, documentaries, or high-end client work. You demand perfect color grading, custom motion graphics, and absolute pixel-perfect precision. If that's you, Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects are your required tools. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Are you holding your content back by clinging to outdated editing workflows? Seriously, the tools we've explored today aren't just minor software updates. They represent a fundamental shift in how human creativity scales. Every hour you spend manually scrubbing timelines and patching audio is an hour you could be spending planning your next big idea. It's time to let the AI handle the friction so you can focus entirely on the story. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you found it as fascinating as I did. Now go out there, upgrade your workflow, and I'll see you next time.